Imagine boarding a small private plane on a clear September afternoon, expecting nothing more than a short flight across the mountains of North Carolina. The hum of the engine, the calm of the skies, and the confidence of routine. Yet within minutes, it would all descend into tragedy. On Thursday, the music world lost one of its most gifted songwriters, Brett James, the Grammy-winning pen behind some of country music's most powerful anthems, including Carrie Underwood's unforgettable hit, Jesus, Take the Wheel. He was only 57 years old, his life ending in a sudden, devastating plane crash. The accident has not only stunned fans but also left an unfillable void in Nashville, where James was considered a mentor, a hitmaker, and above all, a friend. Witnesses near Franklin, North Carolina, described the terrible moment. A Cirrus SR-22T aircraft carrying 3 people struggled in its final minutes before crashing just outside the town, scattering wreckage across a wooded area. First responders rushed to the scene, but there was little they could do. The National Transportation Safety Board confirmed that it had launched a full investigation, yet the weight of the loss was already sinking in for those who knew the man behind countless country chart toppers. On Friday morning, the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame posted the heartbreaking news on Facebook. Soon after, ASCAP, one of the leading performing rights organizations, honored him with words that resonated deeply. We're mourning the loss of Brett James, a 2-time ASCAP Country Songwriter of the Year. Brett was a trusted collaborator to country's greatest names and a true advocate for songwriters. We miss him dearly, but who was Brett James beyond the headlines of tragedy? To understand the impact of his passing, we need to look back at the journey of a man whose life was shaped by bold choices, relentless creativity, and a heart tuned to the power of music. Born in Oklahoma City as Brett Cornelius, he originally seemed destined for a different path. He was enrolled in medical school, preparing for a life in medicine, a career his family and peers might have expected. But James had a fire inside him that no stethoscope could silence. He left behind the safety of that profession and instead chose Nashville, a city where dreams are made and broken every single night. For Brett, it was the beginning of a leap of faith that would define his life. In those early years, James pursued the spotlight himself, working as an artist before realizing his true genius lay behind the scenes, in crafting words and melodies that others could bring to life. His first taste of significant success came in the early 2000s. Who I Am, performed by Jessica Andrews, became his first #1 hit on the country charts in 2001, setting the stage for a career that would see him collaborate with the very biggest names in country music and beyond. Kenny Chesney, Billy Ray Cyrus, Martina McBride. Brett was quickly proving that he had an ear not just for catchy hooks, but for storytelling that resonated with everyday people. The moment that truly defined his career, however, came in 2005 with Carrie Underwood's breakout single Jesus, Take the Wheel. Co-written with Hillary Lindsey and Gordy Sampson, the song struck a chord with millions of listeners. It was more than just a ballad. It was a spiritual anthem, a cry for surrender, and a testament to faith in moments of crisis. When Underwood sang those words, Jesus, take the wheel, take it from my hands, she was voicing the very emotions that countless people had felt in their darkest hours. The song went on to win the 2006 Grammy Award for Best Country Song, as well as the Academy of Country Music Single of the Year and ASCAP's Country Song of the Year. For Brett James, it was validation that he had found his place, that his decision to leave medicine had led him exactly where he was meant to be. In the years that followed, James' name would appear again and again in the credits of some of country's biggest hits. He gave Underwood another smash with Cowboy Casanova. He fueled Kenny Chesney's rise with When the Sun Goes Down and Out Last Night. He captured patriotic pride with Rodney Atkins' It's America. He brought summer to life with Rascal Flatts' Summer Nights. His words gave Chris Young, The Man I Wanna Be, and powered Brantley Gilbert's rowdy anthem, Bottoms Up. And he even reached across genres with Paulina Rubio's Latin hit, The One You Love, To Do Me Amor. His fingerprints were everywhere, and his songs became the soundtrack to weddings, road trips, heartbreaks, and celebrations. Beyond the music charts, Brett was beloved in Nashville's songwriting community. Younger writers often spoke of his generosity, his willingness to collaborate without ego, and his passion for protecting the rights of those who put pen to paper. ASCAP's tribute was more than just words. It reflected the way James had fought for songwriters to be recognized as the backbone of the industry. In an era where streaming often undervalued the creators, Brett was one of those voices reminding the world that without the song, there is no singer, no stage, no success. The shock of his death spread rapidly, and reactions poured in from artists who had worked with him. Many shared memories of writing sessions that went late into the night, filled with laughter, brainstorming, and Brett's unshakable belief that music could heal. For Carrie Underwood, whose career was forever tied to the words he wrote, the loss is immeasurable. Jesus, Take the Wheel wasn't just a song that launched her into superstardom. It was a song that defined an era of country music. Fans still recall the chills of hearing her perform it for the first time, her voice carrying Brett's words like a prayer. The tragic irony is hard to ignore. A man whose greatest legacy was a song about surrendering control in the face of danger met his end in a plane crash, a scenario where lives are often at the mercy of forces beyond human control. For many, the thought of Brett James in those final moments inevitably brings back the haunting chorus of his most famous work. Jesus, Take the Wheel now carries an even deeper, more poignant meaning for those mourning his loss. In Franklin, North Carolina, the investigation continues. The NTSB will examine what went wrong with the Cirrus SR-22T, a small but popular model among private pilots. Weather conditions, mechanical issues, pilot decisions, all will be scrutinized in the coming weeks. But for fans and colleagues, those details will never soften the heartbreak. What matters most is that a brilliant mind, a compassionate mentor, and a once-in-a-generation songwriter is gone far too soon. Brett James leaves behind not just a catalog of hits but also a story of courage. Few would abandon the certainty of a medical career to chase an uncertain future in music. Fewer still would achieve the kind of success he did, not as a performer but as a craftsman whose words became immortal through the voices of others. His songs will continue to play on radios, at concerts, and in the private moments of people who find comfort, joy, or strength in them. And in those songs, Brett James will live on. As Nashville mourns, there is also gratitude for the melodies, for the memories, and for the man who gave his life to music. At 57, his journey was cut short, but his impact is timeless. When people sing along to Jesus, Take the Wheel years from now, they may not all know the name Brett James. But those who do will remember that behind those powerful lyrics was a man who believed in the magic of a song, and who gave the world some of its most unforgettable ones. The loss is immeasurable, but the legacy is eternal.